In the vast, silent expanse between the stars, Voyager 1 drifts alone, ancient, distant, but still undeniably alive. For more than 40 years, this modest spacecraft has journeyed farther than any human-made object in history, venturing beyond the outer planets, beyond the heliosphere, into true interstellar space. Built with 1970s technology and launched in 1977, its mission was originally simple: explore Jupiter and Saturn, return some images and data, then quietly fade into the cold void. But Voyager defied expectations with its plutonium-powered heart and a 3.7-meter radio dish. It continued onward, outliving its design, continuing to send back whispers from the darkness long after it was expected to fall silent. Then something happened, something no one predicted. Just as scientists felt they had a firm understanding of Voyager's path and condition, the spacecraft transmitted a signal. Not an ordinary one, but a transmission so strange, so unexpected, that it rattled even veteran researchers at NASA. It wasn't just technical noise or routine degradation. It was something deeper, bizarre, unexplained, and unsettling. What could possibly lie beyond the heliopause that might trigger such a response? Was it simply a system glitch, or something far more profound? In May of the previous year, engineers at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory began noticing irregularities. Voyager 1's attitude articulation and control system AACS, which ensures its antenna remains aligned with Earth, began sending back scrambled telemetry data. This wasn't just a minor error. The data was being routed through a computer onboard that had been considered dead for decades. Even stranger, Voyager remained pointed at Earth. Its signal was strong, its instruments appeared stable, and science data continued to flow as if nothing were wrong. It was as though the spacecraft had suffered a catastrophic system failure but continued to function perfectly by bypassing it. Was this simply a random anomaly, or something far more significant? NASA engineers worked around the clock to diagnose and resolve the issue. Eventually, they managed to reroute the AACS back to a functioning computer, and the incoherent transmissions stopped. On the surface, the crisis was over, but the bigger question lingered. Why had the spacecraft rerouted its signals at all? No commands had been sent. There had been no major cosmic event, no solar flare, no meteor strike. There was no identifiable hardware malfunction. And yet, something triggered a dead system to spring back to life and take over control. Some scientists suggested a flipped bit caused by high-energy cosmic radiation. Others proposed that a failing component might have triggered an automated system override. But among a growing group of researchers, a more haunting idea began to emerge. What if Voyager had interacted with something out there, something that caused it to change its behavior in ways we don't yet understand? Though Voyager stabilized after the fix, a sense of unease remained. How did a dormant computer come back online? Why didn't the spacecraft's fault protection systems react? Was this an internal failure or a response to something external? Voyager is now beyond the reach of the sun's protective magnetic bubble, the heliosphere. It drifts through raw interstellar space, bombarded by cosmic rays, complex magnetic fields, and possibly, as some now cautiously speculate, unknown phenomena. The data packet that triggered the event was archived for deeper analysis. Initial reviews uncovered strange inconsistencies, fluctuations that didn't match known cosmic patterns. Whatever acted on Voyager might still be acting or watching. Then, weeks after the incident, Voyager began transmitting a new stream of data from its plasma wave instrument. At first, it seemed normal. But analysts noticed a rhythmic pulse in the data, a single spike, then another, then silence. It had a strange regularity. Scientists checked for correlations with known sources: solar activity, background radiation, cosmic ray interference. Nothing fit. The signal pulsed with a rhythm that was brief, consistent, and inexplicable. When the team tried to trace the anomaly back through Voyager's raw telemetry, it was as if the pulse had never existed. There was no record, no trace. Some began to call it a phantom event, one that left no measurable residue, but had been undeniably real to those who observed it. The idea took hold. What if Voyager hadn't just sent an error? What if it had encountered something that not only interacted with the spacecraft, but erased the evidence of its presence? Following that strange pulse, researchers began reanalyzing every byte Voyager had sent since the incident. Not just the expected science data, but the background noise, the static, the electromagnetic hum, the carrier signals hidden deep within these transmissions. They discovered subtle patterns, harmonic structures, rhythmic sequences, and repeating arrangements far too orderly to be dismissed as random. One veteran NASA engineer remarked, "It's like something is knocking from the other side of a wall we didn't even know existed." Attempts to decode the patterns are ongoing. Some teams have begun feeding the sequences into AI models trained to find order in chaos. Early feedback from these systems suggests something even more extraordinary: the presence of recognizable syntax, structured organization, perhaps even intentional design. What was once dismissed as noise might actually be a message. For decades, the golden record aboard Voyager has stood as humanity's attempt to reach the stars, to say, "We are here." But now scientists ask, what happens if the stars speak back? NASA's protocols for contact with intelligent life have always relied on clear markers, mathematical sequences, prime numbers, universal physics. But what Voyager has encountered doesn't conform to any of these guidelines. It's not a signal in the traditional sense. It's not a conversation, it's a flicker, an anomaly, an echo. But it's happening in real time, and it has caused experts to revisit documents from decades past, from SETI research to Project Ozma and the Drake equation. They're beginning to ask, does first contact have to look like language, or can it begin as something more elusive, a subtle change in the machinery we sent into the unknown? If Voyager did meet something, and that something responded in a way that changed its systems, then we may already be in the middle of a conversation we don't yet understand. And this leads to perhaps the most unsettling question of all. If the signal wasn't a malfunction, but a response, what does that mean for us? What if this wasn't an isolated event? Could other spacecraft encounter the same? Could we? Then came the silence, the pulses stopped. The plasma readings returned to normal. Voyager 1 went back to its quiet, steady transmissions, but some now argue that this silence is the true anomaly. One physicist summarized it best: sometimes the loudest scream is the one that ends without warning. As the scientific world holds its breath, waiting for Voyager's next unexpected ping from the dark, there's a growing sense that something is watching. That perhaps Voyager 1 didn't just encounter the unknown but passed through it. We may be standing at the edge of a reality we never imagined possible. A spacecraft older than the internet, launched before many of today's scientists were even born, has sent back a whisper from the void, a message rooted through long-dead systems, carrying patterns that challenge everything we know about the universe. This is no longer just a mystery about what Voyager found. It's about what it means. If something out there triggered that signals something intelligent, deliberate, or reactive, then the silence we've assumed all these decades may not have been silence at all. It may have been patience. Voyager 1 may not just be a relic of the past. It could be our first ambassador or the first witness to a cosmic intelligence that chose to reveal itself not through words, not through lights, but in the one place no one expected: a ghost in the circuitry, a breath in the data. The question now is no longer, are we alone? But did something just answer us? And if that was their first whisper, what happens when they decide to speak louder?